Secrets within the Vatican's hidden history. When you think of the Vatican, you probably picture timeless art, sacred halls, and the millions of pilgrims in St. Peter's Square. But beyond all that, there's a hidden world, sealed off from public view. We're told they're just the Vatican Apostolic Archives. But this is no ordinary library. It's a labyrinth of secrets with over 85 kilometres of shelving holding documents that stretch back more than 1,200 years. For centuries, access has been incredibly restricted, fueling whispers about what truly lies within. Officially, it's a collection of papal records, letters, and historical accounts. But what if it's more than that? What if, locked away in climate-controlled vaults, are the answers to paranormal enigmas and shocking conspiracies that have haunted history? Some researchers claim these archives are the oldest library of paranormal knowledge in existence. So tonight we're looking for the truth behind the most shocking theories and macabre events sealed within its vaults. The chronovisor. The Vatican's window to the past? Our first secret sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but the story has persisted for decades. It's a device called the chronovisor. The tale begins in the 1960s with Father Pellegrino Ernetti, a Benedictine monk who was also a respected physicist and exorcist. According to Ernetti, he was part of a secret team that included scientific giants like Enrico Fermi and Werner von Braun. And right in the heart of the Vatican, they supposedly built a machine not for time travel, but for time viewing. The chronovisor wasn't a time machine, it was more like a television tuned to history. Ernetti claimed it worked by reconstructing residual energy, the echoes of light and sound that past events leave behind. He said they'd used it to witness moments lost to time, like a forgotten Roman tragedy and speeches by Cicero. Most incredibly, Ernetti claimed they watched the final days of Jesus Christ, including the Last Supper and the crucifixion. As proof, he produced a photo of Jesus on the cross. The image was a sensation until it was convincingly debunked as a copy of a carving from a church in Italy. Despite the fake photo and scientists dismissing the idea as pseudoscience, the legend of the chronovisor won't die. Why the Vatican's alleged role? Ernetti claimed that Pope Pius XII, realizing the device could be used as the ultimate weapon of control, ordered it dismantled and hidden deep within the archives. The Vatican has never confirmed or denied it, and that silence just adds to the mystery. Could a machine that holds the visual record of all human history be tucked away in some dusty Vatican corner? The Cadaver Synod, the time a pope, was put on trial. After his death. Not all of the Vatican's secrets are unproven conspiracies. Some are just horrifically true. Perhaps nothing is more bizarre than the Synodus Horrenda, better known as the Cadaver Synod. This wasn't a theory, it was a real event that took place in January of 897. The accused was Pope Formosus. The only problem? Formosus had been dead for 7 months. The trial was orchestrated by his successor's successor, Pope Stephen VI. Historians believe Stephen was trying to appease a powerful political family by publicly disgracing Formosus. So he ordered Formosus's rotting corpse to be dug up from its grave. The decomposing body was then dressed in full papal robes, propped up on a throne in the Grand Basilica, and literally put on trial. The charges were perjury and illegally becoming pope. With the stench of death filling the room, a young deacon was forced to stand by the corpse and speak for it, answering the furious accusations from Stephen VI. Unsurprisingly, Formosus was found guilty. His papacy was declared invalid. But the horror didn't stop there. The corpse was stripped, and Pope Stephen himself allegedly lunged forward and cut off the 3 fingers Formosus had used for blessings. The mutilated body was tossed into a pauper's grave, only to be dug up again and thrown into the Tiber River. Legend says a fisherman later snagged the body in his net, and it began performing miracles. This grotesque political theatre backfired spectacularly. The people of Rome were so revolted that they rose up, imprisoned Stephen, and had him strangled to death in his cell just a few months later. The unreleased prophecy. Is the third secret of Fatima still hidden? For over 80 years, one of the Vatican's most famous mysteries was the third secret of Fatima. In 1917, 3 shepherd children in Portugal claimed to receive prophecies from an apparition of the Virgin Mary. The first 2 secrets were a vision of hell and a prediction of the end of WWI and the start of WWII. but the third was sealed in an envelope sent to the Vatican and ordered not to be opened until 1960. But 1960 came and went with no announcement. Pope John XXIII reportedly read it and decided to put it back in the archive. His successor did the same. This decades-long silence fueled a firestorm of speculation. Was it a prophecy of nuclear war? An apocalypse? A great rebellion within the Church itself? Finally, in 2000, the Vatican revealed the text. The future Pope Benedict XVI explained it was a symbolic vision of the persecution of Christians. The vision climaxed with a bishop clothed in white being killed by soldiers, which the Vatican interpreted as a prophecy of the 1981 assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II. Case closed. Not for everyone. Many fatimists believe the Vatican is still hiding something. They argue that what was released was just the vision, not the Virgin Mary's own words explaining it. They insist the true secret, a more terrifying prophecy about a crisis of faith within the Church, remains locked away. Did the Vatican reveal everything to calm apocalyptic fears, or is the most dangerous part of the prophecy still waiting in the archives? Paranormal investigations, the Vatican's ghost hunters and miracle detectives. While people speculate about hidden conspiracies, the Vatican is actively involved in investigating the paranormal. This is official procedure. The Church has teams of priests, scientists, and doctors who investigate thousands of supernatural claims every year, from weeping statues to demonic possessions. The former chief exorcist of Rome, Father Gabriele Amorth, claimed he performed hundreds of exorcisms a year, and recent popes have overseen a massive expansion of trained exorcists worldwide. But the Church's starting point is deep skepticism. In 2024, the Vatican issued new guidelines for investigating these events, aiming to root out fraud and sensationalism. In a major shift, the Vatican said it will generally no longer declare an event, like an apparition, to be of supernatural origin. That kind of confirmation is now extremely rare. Instead, they might issue a nihil obstat, basically a no objection, which lets people practice devotion without the Church officially confirming a miracle. This shows just how cautious they are. For a healing to be considered for sainthood, a panel of doctors must first rule out any medical explanation, and even then, 99.9% of cases fail this first step. The process is designed to find every possible natural explanation. And yet, cases continue to pop up that defy easy answers. What happens when the Vatican's own rigorous investigations hit a dead end? Those files are among the most fascinating secrets the Vatican holds. The ultimate cover-up: UFOs in the Apostolic Archives. Of all the conspiracies, none is more explosive than the idea that the Vatican is part of a global cover-up of extraterrestrial contact. For years, researchers have argued that the archives must contain records of UFO-like events that were just misinterpreted through a religious lens. Professor Diana Walsh-Pasulka, for example, suggests that old reports of nuns seeing glowing orbs or flying houses might be better understood today as UFO encounters, their records now lost in uncatalogued sections of the archives. This theory exploded into the mainstream in July 2023, when David Grush, a former US intelligence official, testified under oath before Congress. Grush alleged that the US has non-human spacecraft, and that the Vatican was involved in recovering the very first one. According to his stunning claim, Mussolini's government recovered a non-human craft in Italy in 1933. Grush testified that Pope Pius XII then back-channeled information about it to the US, which scooped it up around 1944. The claim implies the Vatican has known about non-human intelligence for nearly a century. The Vatican's official response has been total dismissal. The secretary to the prefect of the archives said he didn't know where Grush got his information and compared the inquiries to people asking for letters from Pontius Pilate, saying, "One can laugh at it." The office has since stated there are no documents about extraterrestrial life in the archives. Is it a genuine denial, or are they protecting a secret that would redefine humanity's place in the cosmos? The legend of Pope Joan, the woman who secretly ruled the Church. There's a story in the Vatican's chronicles so scandalous the Church spent centuries trying to erase it. It's the legend of Pope Joan, a woman who supposedly disguised herself as a man, rose through the Church, and was elected Pope in the 9th century. This wasn't a modern invention. The story was widely believed throughout the Middle Ages, placing her reign around 855 AD. So how did her secret get out? In the most public and shocking way imaginable. While leading a papal procession through Rome, the Pope suddenly collapsed in pain and, to the horror of the crowd, gave birth to a child. Accounts differ on what happened next, but they agree she died right there, either from childbirth or at the hands of the enraged mob. Historians now largely consider the story a myth, likely anti-papal satire that took on a life of its own. But a few historical oddities have kept the legend alive. For centuries, a special throne with a hole in the seat was supposedly used in papal coronations. A junior cardinal would perform a check to verify the new pope's gender, just to make sure another Pope Joan incident never happened. While likely just a story, its persistence points to a deep anxiety about what secrets the papacy might hold. Was Joan a real person whose existence was scrubbed from the record? Or is she just a ghost story meant to haunt the Vatican's hidden history? Modern mysteries, God's banker, and the 1958 white smoke. The web of Vatican mystery isn't just ancient history, it stretches right into the modern era. Take the bizarre case of Roberto Calvi, chairman of Italy's largest private bank and known as God's banker because of his close ties to the Vatican Bank. In 1982, his bank collapsed in a massive fraud scandal with connections to the Vatican, the mafia, and secret Masonic lodges. Calvi fled Italy, and days later, on June 18, 1982, his body was found hanging from scaffolding under Blackfriars Bridge in London. His pockets were stuffed with bricks and cash. His death was first ruled a suicide, but a second inquest returned an open verdict, and forensic analysis later concluded he was murdered. The day before his body was found, his secretary had fallen to her death from the bank's headquarters in Milan. Mafia informants later claimed they killed Calvi for losing their money, but no one was ever convicted. The case remains officially unsolved. Even something as simple as a papal election is shrouded in mystery. In 1958, the world watched the Sistine Chapel chimney for the smoke signal. At one point, white smoke clearly billowed for 5 minutes, and Vatican radio even announced a new pope had been elected. But then, the smoke turned black, causing mass confusion. The Vatican later blamed a faulty stove. But for conspiracy theorists, it was a sign of a secret coup, that a pope had been elected and then either forced to step down or was disposed of, all hidden from the world behind a puff of smoke. From time-viewing machines to dead popes on trial, the mysteries surrounding the Vatican are as fascinating as they are strange. If you enjoyed exploring these hidden histories, don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend who loves a good mystery, and subscribe for more deep dives into the secrets hiding just beneath the surface. The Vatican's archives are more than just 85 kilometers of paper. They are a monument to memory, a fortress of faith, and an endless source of mystery. Pope Francis has tried to curb the myths by renaming the secret archives to the more accurate apostolic archives. But the restricted access all but guarantees the speculation will never die. The questions will always remain. What truths or inconvenient histories are still waiting in those unlit corridors? Could a single document in a forgotten box change how we see religion, history, or even the universe itself? For as long as its doors remain only partially open, we will keep wondering about the secrets sealed within.